Hey there, YouTube. What's going on? It's your boy Citywide Soul coming at you with another review of Saints Row. So this is Saints Row 4. It came out back in August 20th in 2013. So it's almost been 10 years since we've had a new Saints Row. This was a Saints Row game that I would say kind of killed off the franchise. Saints Row has been reaching with Saints Row 3 and now Saints Row 4 into a different era for the Saints. In Saints Row 3, you were pretty normal, we'll say, but there was a little bit of extra added on to it. And in Saints Row 4, they just doubled down on the extra with giving you abilities like being able to super jump, super fly, giving you special powers. And that's unfortunately what ultimately killed the Saints Row series. Now, if you haven't watched, I've got Saints Row 1 and my Saints Row 2 review video that came out a couple months ago there, and in there, that's where Saints Row gained all its popularity. Saints Row 1 wasn't a super favorited game. Saints Row 2 just loved by everyone. That they made the Saints Row 3 with a huge overhaul that unfortunately started to kill the franchise, but then Saints Row 4 came out and just demolished the whole Saints Row series with it being way too over the top. I think a lot of us back when we were playing Saints Row 1 and Saints Row 2 enjoyed the gang appeal, having homies, starting with nothing, building up our gang, making and taking over empires. Not to say in Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4 you weren't making empires and kind of coming up from something, but in Saints Row 3 it was just a little bit too over the top. And Saints Row 4 you do wind up getting abducted by aliens and then kind of taking over everything there. In the background here, I've got the Saints Row starter of the intro mission into the game, where as you can see, here's your main Saints Row guy, just classic him, taking out a whole army of people all by himself. We are right now going into a terrorist base. I cut out the video here to skip out most of the running around. Essentially, you get into the terrorist base. They've got this rocket here that we're climbing on that's full of nerve gas that's aimed at the United States to take them all out. This is, I don't know, I like to show the intros into the game so you kind of have an idea and an understanding as to where at the first mission they're coming into the game. And here, it's kind of where it lost me. Like Saints Row 3, I absolutely hated. When I was playing this, just this first mission, just to get the game footage here, I was like, yeah, I see us climbing up a rocket and looking at what our character's grabbing on and stuff like that. There is nothing. You're just grabbing a straight cylinder rocket and climbing straight up as it's shooting up. So unless the suit you're wearing was special, I have no idea. And as you can see, you were in the air on the rocket, and then you just decided to jump off the rocket before it blew up and magically landed into the White House, where here in Saints Row 4, you are the president. So here we are in the character customization. There is downloaded characters just like in Saints Row 3. Unfortunately, because the game is from 2013, there is no more being able to download other customized characters, much like Saints Row 3. Character customization is very similar. We've got some different things where you can do tan lines, but you can still make your character look old, look young, give them more or less sex appeal. Changing the skin is kind of cool, so you're like a metallic green or something like that. Being able to adjust the pitch that we can see in the background there is a new feature to Saints Row, so you can have Alvin and the Chipmunks or a Darth Vader-esque kind of character. In Saints Row 4, they did remove the zombie voice, which I'm kind of happy about because playing through Saints Row 3 with the zombie voice was just terrible. But in here, you have now, I think, Nolan North that is the voice instead of the zombie voice. As you can see in the background, your Saint has customized the White House into his classic pimp kind of pad and pen. We've got a tiger there we just fed. You've got Pierce on the one side, and I don't know who the other guy is there, being one of your advisors. Coming into it, still very much the same graphics from Saints Row 3 over into Saints Row 4. I don't really think that they changed too much in there. We do have a lot of returning characters from Saints Row 2, Saints Row 3 into Saints Row 4. Some of the teams and people who we were against in Saints Row 3 have now allied us. Not to give out too many spoilers, but we do have Matt Miller on our side and a few other characters. So here you are, there's people asking you different kind of questions. None of this at all affects the story. So right here, when you can high five or walk away, doesn't matter what you wind up picking at the end of the day, all the characters and everything is going to be the exact same. So here we have Kenzie. She was a character that was picked up from Saints Row 3, doing a press conference. As you can see, she's super excited and super thrilled with doing that. There's Shondi. So if you remember Shondi, she came in Saints Row 2 as this kind of, I don't know, weed smoking character. There was a bunch of times when we were playing Saints Row 2 that she just kind of had a ghetto style or a more MacGyver style on how to do things. And now looking at her, she's all fancy, she's all dolled up, no more, I assume, smoking backwoods at a park or a playground. Now she's just out being the president's assistant. Here's where Saints Row 4 basically begins, where we are invaded by aliens. They took Kenzie, our guy goes to stop them. This guy doesn't even have to look, catches Shondi coming in to stop him. She's getting warped up, Kenzie got warped up. I don't know. Our Secret Service is trying to hold us down from doing something stupid, but classic our character, let's go do something stupid. So, and as you can see, I just took out one of the enemy guys there. Not even any issue whatsoever. Just ran into him, took him out in the Oval Office. We just got some guns. Here you are, you can see holes coming through the Oval Office and they're beaming people up. So this is already where the game doesn't make too much sense. Because when the main, I don't know, alien guy came down, nobody shot at him, and here we are with all his little henchmen just shooting them. As you can see, classic bullet sponge, just like from Saints Row 3, where you can just keep walking in and nobody is really doing any damage. I'm not really taking any cover, just walk through the whole hallway there. We'll say I mowed down 20 guys, nothing. Here's some more guys, still taking them out. This is one of the things that, again, brings down the Saints Row appeal for me, is just being able to run straight into enemies with little to no flinching. There's no need to really hide or get cover. It's essentially just a run and gun kind of game. Now here we've just slid on to these cannons that were shooting and destroying all the alien ships. Thing about this too, that again, starter mission, but so many things don't make sense, because as our guy is destroying all of these alien ships, you can see him cheering and all that with his hands. What the F is shooting? Like, I don't know if this is just an automated turret that we hopped into and we are essentially the automation of it, but why our character had to jump into this to kind of be up front in the front of the Oval Office defending it, beyond me. I don't know. Now we got to shoot down the mothership, the only ship that takes a few more bullets than all the other small ships. Again, our character definitely has a rabbit's foot, because not only in the first cutscene of the game did we take out a whole band of, I don't know, terrorists without any weapons, but now we just happen to destroy a whole bunch of aliens, took down a mothership, as you can see. Now we're fisticuffing the lead guy, and doesn't make sense. You're seeing this dude's size, you're seeing this dude's muscles. He floated in, for God's sakes. And we're still like, nah, this is just a backyard brawl. Come on, here we go. So as you can see, our guy pulled out the pistol. He just teleported away, picks our guy up with some telekinesis. Just, this is the start of a Saints Row. And already your guy's getting his shit kicked out of him. And it just kind of, right here, just wrecks the game. Like Saints Row 1, Saints Row 2, good intros. I can follow it. I'm kind of invested. And Saints Row 3, But now Saints Row 4, they're all over the map. So at one point, you're taking over a terrorist group. Then, second mission will say you're defending the Oval Office against aliens. This will say is the third mission, and you're in a simulation. You're unaware of it at the beginning here. You're thinking everything's just all hunky-dory, and I don't know, we'll say 1950s, 1960s kind of esque in the background. Your character, it sucked. When you're doing this and you're playing through it, it absolutely sucks, because you want to go faster, you want to run, you kind of want to get to your objective a heck of a lot quicker than what you're actually getting it to, but because he's doing his little strut, you just go so slow. And to me, something like that, when you're trying to get into a game, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I love to get into games not right away, like here's instant action right away, we're in the middle of a war, but I like to kind of be brought into it with a little bit of consistency, not really beating around the bush. Again, depends on the game, but like a Saints Row or even a Grand Theft Auto, depending how what the kind of intro is, that's kind of to me sets the tone of what I want to see. Like when you were talking Grand Theft Auto 4, which would have been one of the comparables to this Saints Row, when you're Nico getting off the boat, it's real slow intro, but everything builds on that. You get bigger, you get better, all that good stuff. This game, you're starting off taking over a terrorist, you're destroying a rocket in the air, falling into the Oval Office, then you're fighting aliens. Now you're in a simulation, and right here's where your character starts to realize it is a simulation, but there's so much at the start of this Saints Row that just takes away from everything. Like, not saying Saints Row 2 or Saints Row 1 had a lot of realness to them, but they kind of made you with that real appeal, that real feel of like, oh, I am gang banging. Oh, I gotta kind of be choosy with my ammo. I can't just be shooting and not really caring too much. Whereas Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4, all enemies just, you mow them down, you run and gun, and if you miss, it doesn't matter because your character is just a bullet sponge. As you can see in the background there, I did go to a border that has absolutely nothing. Kenzie then messages us and says, hey, you're in a simulation. I'm going to try and get you out. Just follow where we've got to go. There we go. We just got ejected from the car we were driving. We're looking around. We got to kill some cops. There's a bunch of people all around us. There's all the baddies. We're just shooting them up. I don't know. And in this Saints Row, there is health drop, as you can see, as I'm shooting those characters there. They do drop little health pickups. That is kind of handy. I know I just said that this game you're running and gunning and you don't really have to duck for cover. There are times where there's huge swarms of enemies where it is nice to grab some health and be able to kind of take a quick break, heal up for a second. So here there's Professor Genki. Now we've got this rocket launcher with infinitive ammo. As you can see, we're basically doing one of the side quests or mini games in this game called Mayhem. So you've got a weapon and we're just destroying stuff to get as much money as we possibly can so that we can wind up unlocking this door to get out. Here's the cop from the beginning here that we thought was our buddy. Turns out he's very Terminator-esque. So as you can see, just firing tons of rockets into him. Not a whole heck of a lot is going on, but am I taking any cover? Am I trying to dodge any of the bullets? No, not really. I'm just classic Saints Row 3 and 4, just being a sponge. So here you go. You pissed off the big alien. Now you're talking to him. You can see when you look up, which I don't know. Maybe when I was playing, I never looked up to see if it was a black sky. I just assumed because it was all sunny-esque looking that you would have been in a little bit better of a simulation. Maybe it only went black because he's coming in to talk to the guy, but as you can see, that was a steel port there that he has a little, I don't know, board of, and he comes on in. I don't even know why we're trying to shoot him because we're in his simulation. He's kind of giving us a bit of a mind bend there by being everywhere at once. He's in front of us, he's behind us. Now we're in a blacked out room that he just drops us from the top of his ship onto the ground. Those are the mini bosses of the game that he's talking to. So essentially throughout this game, you will wind up taking over some territory and completing little like checkpoints. And in those checkpoints, the odd checkpoint will give you one of these guys to fight. You will get some points from fighting them. Sometimes too, through fighting them, you will get the different abilities such as the super speed, the super jump, being able to kind of fly a little bit, telekinesis, shooting ice bolts. There's a whole bunch of different things that come into this game. Again, kind of makes some things nice. It's fun. Like this was one of the things that when I was reviewing this game initially, I kind of just remembered it being like Saints Row 3, terrible. So I was going to do a Saints Row 3 and a Saints Row 4 review at the same time and just say both are shit. But upon playing this, I did get an Xbox achievement, which I was kind of like, that's weird. Then I realized I hated Saints Row 3 so much, I never bothered touching Saints Row 4. So this is Saints Row 4 on my Xbox Series X. I am playing an Xbox 360 CD of Saints Row 4. As you can see, we've got the same kind of map that we had before in Saints Row 3. Very similar, except as you can see, there's more red buildings and stuff like that. That is because we are all in a simulation, and this guy has changed up our world into basically a version of what he thinks it should be. So some of the propaganda and the boards and stuff like that in the game have his faces on it, as you can see there. Just going through the radio, we still have pretty much all the same radio stations as we did in Saints Row 2 and 3. There you can see there's a big hive. As you can see as we're driving through the downtown there's a bunch of boards with the alien leader's face on it. It's kind of funny because he did change. In Saints Row 3 we had Saints Planet for a clothing store. Now whatever this dude's name is, we've got his version of that. Basically alien clothes, but it's all the exact same. We still have fan favorites coming back with rim jobs. We still have a lot of the same kind of basically, Saints Row 3, this is just a slight reskin and giving your characters superpowers. Not too much has changed. There is a few new mini games that have been added into this. As you can see, Friendly Fire, we had that in Saints Row 1, 2, 3, and now 4. In here, you are able to customize your gun. As you can see, you could make a bigger clip. You can change what your gun looks like, which is kind of cool because now your pistol, from it being just basic and boring, you can change it into that wireframe, which was kind of cool. Here you've got assault rifle that you can turn into a mini, or an SMG, sorry, that you can turn into a minigun. Here you've got your shotgun that you can turn into like a blunderbuss, or to me that kind of looks like a Wonder Waffle from Call of Duty. It's interesting. There's all your guns. Again, you can come back at a later time and upgrade all of your weapons. I don't know. Now your character's got to go buy clothing and stuff like that. So very similar system before as to how you'd find your stores. If you haven't been on the street or been near the store, it is unknown until you drive over to it. So this was Saints Row Planet. Now it's Planet Zin, as you can see. So same thing. You can choose all different clothing and stuff like that. The one nice thing and new about this too is that there's outfits to choose. So here now, I've skipped ahead in the gameplay. We are further into the game. Now I do have superpowers. As you can see, the green coming out of that guy. I've upgraded my weapon. There's your super jump. This is a super glide. With the super run, if you upgrade it enough, you can wind up running straight up buildings. As you can see there, when my character is glowing, that just means we're using his superpowers. When you do jump, you gotta hold A, and the longer you hold A, the higher you jump. Depending on what level you've leveled up your jump to, you can wind up getting higher and higher and higher. There is a point though when you are charging your jump where it just winds up saying, yeah, this is pretty much enough jump. As you can see, I am floating and then I just stop from flying, land straight on the ground, superhero, punch the ground, we're all good. Running back up. That cluster that you saw me pick up there are the items that you wind up grabbing in the game to essentially level up your superhero ability. There are times too in mission dependence to unlock different abilities. This is one of the newer mini games in this game, so you're just running, as you can see, hitting bullseye to get full score. I am just kind of super speed, super jumping all around. First time playing this mini game when I was recording all this, so definitely apologize for not being the best at it, but I mean, I think at the end of this one, I did wind up getting silver or maybe even gold. One of the things again with Saints Row 4, I just found so boring was that there is mini games and there's stuff to do, but sometimes like this here, I'm running ahead and I'm like, oh shoot, I have to somehow get on top of this building. Like there's not really a direction that this game gives you. It is nice, you can wind up choosing whatever way you want to go, but still you have to do specific missions, and there is little character in-game, I'll say side missions that wind up asking you, okay, go hack this store and go do these 3 mini games, and then I'll give you a new power-up or a new ability or a new waypoint, because there are points where you get out of Steelport in here and go back to the Zin mothership, where that's where you guys wind up freeing other people. So Kenzie winds up freeing you, and then you wind up freeing, I think, whatever the, I'm trying to think of his name right now. I'm drawing a blank. Just different people. That's it. You just free different people. Matt Miller is one of the people you wind up freeing from his, uh, I don't know, not hallucination, but from whatever they're tricking him into. He gets freed. You do wind up seeing that the Earth does get blown up in this game, which is kind of nice because knowing that it blew up, you know you're not going to go back. This is kind of, again, the death of Saints Row. Here you can see all of the different upgrades, all of the other upgrade abilities onto your superpowers. So again, there you go. You saw at the very end before I exited out, Kenzie was giving me an objective to go do. I have to go to the Superpower Fight Club. Like, I don't know. Again, this Saints Row, it was kind of fun. The downside to you having superpowers is all of the cars that are in this game, once you got Super Run and Super Jump, are rendered pretty much useless. There's very little time where I was like, hey, should I go steal a car to get over there quicker? No, it was literally, I'll just super run, keep jumping, run up to the top of a building, jump, super glide as far as I can over, and just before I hit the ground, charge up my jump. So when I hit the ground, boom, I jump back up, and away I keep going. So as you can see here, got the super run. We've got to kill people. It's one of those things too in this game, if you run into someone and you wind up using a melee attack, you just instantly kill them, so it doesn't make it really that fun. And again, first time playing through this, I had no idea what was going on. I just knew that running into a guy and punching him was just going to wind up doing kind of like an execution kind of move. As you can see, we have the ground stomp right there that killed a whole bunch of enemies. That guy who is on fire is actually supposed to be on fire. It just sucks because now, as you can see, I'm having a bit of a hard time fighting those guys because all I'm doing is punching them. But the second I do that ground pound, boom, we're good. And I keep going back to my inventory thinking, hey, am I picking up a weapon or what's going on here? As you can see at the top left, there's the kills and there's the wave count. You saw one of those yellow balls get beamed into me. Those guys are using the telekinetic abilities. I just keep using the ground pound. It seems to be slightly effective, killing most of them. That guy there that I hit, though, didn't take any damage whatsoever, so that's why I wound up swapping over to my telekinesis, because I was like, ooh, I see that you guys are using these balls to attack people. Why don't I? So here we are, versing Nightblade. Again, mini-ish boss battle. He's got tons of health. Everyone else is super weak, but as long as we kill him, it just kind of doesn't matter about everyone else. It's just him that we're really focused on. And he has, I guess it's not a lightsaber, this would be his Nightblade, but here we are just making a mess of him. Little WWE style at the end, completed gold tier. So as you can see in that activity, I was shitting the bed at the beginning, not really knowing what the heck I was supposed to do, but in the end, still was able to pull out a gold win. Like, this game's not too challenging, it's not too difficult, it's nothing really. Like, it's just kind of, if you're really bored and you haven't played Saints Row 4 and it happens to be free, I'd play it. I'd give it a shot. It is kind of fun for a little bit, but I don't know. Beating the game, it did take a little while. I would say probably like Saints Row 3, where it was around maybe roughly 30 hours, and I did do a lot of dicking around and stuff like that. So here we are. We've exited the simulation that I was talking about previous. So there's Kenzie. It gives you two options if you want to romance or talk to her. Here I did the romance, and Kenzie winds up punching you, and then you can hear some noises going on in the background. Then you talk to her. Here, you've done whatever quest I've given you. Now I've unlocked a new door for when you go back into the simulation to be able to open. So here's the upgrades. These are just your character upgrades, not really superpowers. And then I go back to the superpowers because I've collected enough of those orb things to wind up leveling those up. So there you go. You can wind up seeing that there's different people like CID, Matt Miller, and Kenzie that we can talk to. So this guy, what he wants us to do is go and explore the rift. I don't know, enter into the simulation to the new door that we've unlocked. And as you can see, the game took a couple of seconds there to kind of render in. And again, you don't really need to use a vehicle in this game. It's just pretty much super jump and super run. So as you can see, while you're flying in the air, you are able to charge your jump. It is kind of nice, but again, half the game, all I'm doing is running onto a building and I have my super jump pre-charged up, and then I hit the building, super jump, float in the air, and then if I hit the ground, I wind up using my super run, and then I go back to the super jump, and it's the quickest way to get around, and it's kind of defeats the whole purpose of any cars in this game. Like going into a rim jobs in Saints Row 2 for me was something I absolutely loved. I love giving cars hydraulics, changing out the rims, giving it a bit of a unique style because this was my vehicle. Then in Saints Row 3, yeah, there was still rim jobs. I still customized cars a little bit, but it just wasn't as fun. And I do believe that there's a point in Saints Row 3 that you can wind up just getting nitro, and it's pretty much infinite. Going on in the background, I'm in I think it was the Rift or whatever, and I'm just throwing the balls using my telekinetic abilities into the corresponding blinkies. So here we are, pick up a yellow ball, shoot it into the hole, shoot it into the hole again. There's other balls coming in and hitting us, but again, we're just a bullet sponge. It doesn't really matter if you're trying to duck for cover or what. We have explosions going on all in the background, and your character still just gets right back up, keep doing the same thing over and over and over. There I threw a red one into the wrong hole. So, and even though I threw a red one into the wrong hole, it doesn't count for a point. Obviously, whatever yellow or red have to go into the corresponding hole to complete the mini game. And then to kind of summarize all of Saints Row 4, I mean, I'm looking at some of the reviews right now, and like IGN gave it a 7.3 out of 10. Steam gave it a 9 out of 10 for Saints Row 4. I would give Saints Row 4 probably like a 7. It's playable. Again, if you can get this game for free, I would totally play it. It's a good thing to waste time. It is fun running around the whole entire world. It's fun too, using all the superpowers, but it does get very, very repetitive. Like once you've got your superpowers, vehicles are useless. Once you've got super jump and super fly and or glide, all of that, I don't know, kind of just renders so much of this game useless. It would be nice to see like the guns do a bit more damage, but you know what? It was a lot better than Saints Row 3. I'll give it that. Unfortunately, I'm amazed I never did a playthrough of this back on the Xbox 360 days, but the playthrough now, it was enjoyable. I mean, I created a whole nother review video because it was that enjoyable, but I am getting excited for the new Saints Row. Again, it is coming out on August 23rd. So that'll be exciting, so can't wait. Once I get that, you can find me on my Twitch. I will be doing one full playthrough. I have no idea how long the game's going to be, so I'm hoping it's going to be around 24 to 30 hours. So I'm going to try and do one constant stream. Again, my Twitch is Citywide Soul, and you will be seeing, once I'm done doing the playthrough on Twitch there, I will then do a review video of how it feels right after. Does it stack up to Saints Row 2, Saints Row 1, or is it more of a Saints Row 3, Saints Row 4 kind of vibe? I did see that there was some gameplay that was released. It does look a lot like Saints Row 3, 4. So we'll see how it goes, but you know the deal. It's your boy, Citywide Soul. Comment, rate, subscribe. Have a great day.